Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naranjaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saram Satim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
To Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Ashtaprayesu Abhadresu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttamasloke
Bhagavate Uttamasloke
Bhaktin Bhavatir Naishiti
Bhakti Bhavati Nasti
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cham
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna, welcome all the devotees for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, text number 20. The canto name is The Cosmic Manifestation. The chapter name is The Pure Devotional Service, The Change in the Heart. Please repeat the sloka behind me. Bile batorukrama-vikramān ye.
Bile batorukrama-vikramān ye.
Na śṛṇvataḥ karṇa-puṭe narasya.
Na śṛṇvataḥ karṇa-puṭe narasya.
Jihvāsatī dārdurikeva Sūta.
jihvāsatī dārdurikeva Sūta.
Na copagāyaty urugāya-gāthāḥ.
Na copagāyaty urugāya-gāthāḥ.
Word by word meaning, please repeat behind me. Bile,
Bile,
snake holes.
snake holes.
Bata,
Bata,
like.
like.
Urukrama,
Urukrama,
the Lord who acts marvelously.
the Lord who acts marvelously.
Vikramān,
Vikramān,
prowess.
prowess.
Ye, all these.
All these.
Na,
No,
never.
never.
śṛṇvataḥ,
Śṛṇvataḥ,
here.
heard.
karṇa-puṭe,
karṇa-puṭe,
the earholes.
the earholes.
Narasya,
Narasya,
of the man.
of the man.
Jihvā,
Jihvā,
tongue.
tongue.
Asatī,
Asatī,
useless.
useless.
Dārdurikā,
Dārdurikā,
of the frogs.
the frogs.
Iva,
Eva,
exactly like that.
exactly like that.
Sūta,
Sūta,
O Sūta Gosvāmī.
Sūta Gosvāmī.
Na,
Na,
never.
never.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Upagāyati,
Upagāyati,
chants loudly.
chants loudly.
Urugāya,
Urugāya,
worth singing.
worth singing.
Gāthāḥ,
Gāthāḥ,
songs.
songs.
Translation, purport by His Divine Grace Abhaya Charana with the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation, please repeat behind me. One who has
One who has
not listened
not listened
to the message,
to the messages
about the prowess
about the prowess
and marvelous acts of
and marvelous acts of
the Personality of Godhead,
the Personality of Godhead,
and has not sung
and has not sung
or chanted loudly
or chanted loudly
the worthy songs about the Lord,
the worthy songs about the Lord,
is to be considered to possess earholes like the holes of snakes,
the holes of the snakes,
and a tongues like
and a tongue like
the tongue of a frog.
tongue of a frog.
purport. Devotional service to the Lord rendered by all limbs or part of the body. It is transcendental dynamic force of the spiritual soul, spirit soul. Therefore, a devotee is engaged 100% in the service of the Lord. One can engage in devotional service when the senses of the body are purified in relation with the Lord, and one can render service to the Lord with the help of all the senses. As such, the senses and the action of the senses are to be considered impure or materialistic as long as they are employed only in sense gratification. The purified senses are engaged not in sense gratification but in the service of the Lord in tattoo. The Lord is the supreme with all senses, and the servitor, who is part and parcel of the Lord, also has the same senses. Service to the Lord is the completely purified use of the senses, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord imparted instructions with full senses, and Arjuna received them with full senses, and thus there was a perfect exchange of sensible and logical understanding between the master and the disciple. Spiritual understanding is nothing like an electrical charge from the master to the disciple, as foolishly claimed by some propaganda mongers. Everything is full of sense and logic, and the exchange of views between the master and disciple is possible only when the reception is submissive and real. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that one should receive the teachings of Lord Chaitanya with the intellect and full senses so that one can logically understand the great mission. In the impure state of a living being, the various senses are fully engaged in mundane affairs. If the ear is not engaged in the service of the Lord by hearing about him from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, certainly the whole of the ear will be filled with some rubbish. Therefore, the message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam should be preached all over the world very loudly. That is the duty of the pure devotee who has actually heard about them from the perfect sources. Many want to speak something to others, but because they are not trained to speak on the subject matter of Vedic wisdom, they are all speaking nonsense, and people are receiving them with no sense. There are hundreds and thousands of sources for distributing mundane news of the world, and people of the world are also receiving it. Similarly, the people of the world should be taught to hear the transcendental topics of the Lord, and the devotee of the Lord must speak loudly so that they can hear. The frog loudly croaked with the result that they invite the snakes to eat them. The human tongue is especially given for chanting the Vedic hymns and not for croaking like frogs. The word asatī used in this verse is also significant. Asatī means a woman who has become a prostitute. A prostitute has no reputation for good womanly qualities. Similarly, the tongue which is given to the human being for chanting the Vedic hymns will be considered a prostitute when engaged in chanting some mundane nonsense. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yana Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutare Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavad Pashasha Desha Dharane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Today's sloka, what Sūta Gosvāmī is explaining is, see, one who is listening to the message about the prowess and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about the Lord is to be considered a possess earholes like the holes of the snakes and the tongue like the tongue of the frog. So here there are two things here talking about. One is the ear and is the tongue. This is the two thing is necessary. It is a dominating we are using every day. For most of the time, we are using this tongue. So, if you take it in the spiritual way, Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravana means to hearing, we are hearing about the Lord pastimes, Lord's activities, about Bhagavad Gita or about scriptures, we are using the ears. That is Shravanam. So, the ear holes we are using only to hear about the Lord. And the tongue. So, the tongue, it is doing two works. One is having the prasadam, and another one is we are speaking. And that is, speaking is called kirtan. So the tongue, it should be used only for kirtan about the Lord. Kirtan in the sense, we need to discuss whatever we heard from the pure soul, pure devotees, and whatever we read, whatever we heard about the Lord, that needs to be shared with others. So the tongue should be used only for that purpose. See, this purport, Prabhupada wrote some 50 years back. So that time there was no advancement, like not advancement, we can say it is whatever the current day we are using for the communications. There are so many things. During that time there was no YouTube, no Facebook, no Instagram, no mobile, no the live telecast. See, there was during that time only newspapers were used to come. When something need to be means the public need to be informed to the public, it comes through newspaper and through radio. So only this medium is there. During that time itself, Prabhupada written over here, there are thousands of ways people can be used nonsense things. There can be speak about nonsense things. Thousands of ways are there. Exactly Prabhupada wrote. So today it is that whatever the Prabhupada wrote, it is applicable for in our current scenario also. See, with the people, whatever they are discussing, most of the things they are talking about the mundane topics. So, and also the hearer, who was the hearer, they also wanted to hear that kind of nonsense only. So, because they are attracted with the sense gratification. So, whatever they are talking about, something ill about others. If you glorify about others, nobody wanted to hear. If you glorify somebody, nobody wanted to hear. Because the Bhagavatam, it is full of glorification of the Supreme Lord. People are not interested in hearing that some even the Supreme Lord's glorification also people not ready to hear. If somebody talking about what is happening with this party and that party, the politicians, with the politician, they have the fight. With their tongue, they are using their tongue to speak about ill about other politician. Say he don't have sense, he is talked about like this. Then that opposite party, immediately he will give the reply to this party. Okay, this person is speaking like this, he is acting like this. So they are thinking that everybody is perfect in this world. So they are perfect, this other person is not perfect. So they wanted to speak about others. So they wanted to expose them to it in front of the public. So there are so many mediums now. There are many people, they open their YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel, they are talking about this politicians, this sports people, and this actor and actresses, what they are doing, how they are going, what kind of dress they are wearing, what they are eating, how much they are earning. So all those things they are discussing. But what is the use of that at the end of the thing, at the end of the story? What is the outcome of that after hearing all those things? It is just, we are just somebody getting means somebody speaking about the others, ill about others. So we are getting some what to say, some happiness inside. Okay, they are speaking about illness, so I am better than them. In that thinking, in our mind, it is coming. So we are also happy with that. And the people are talking about mundane cinema, mundane serials. Okay, this serial, this happened, this still that happened. So we know that is they are acting, but still people are talking about that. And in the Western countries, something, it is news, right? Like Harry Potter, it is coming. So Harry Potter, it is become when it is released, there are so much of chaos in this. People are rushing to get the CDs, this and that. the book, Harry Potter books, there are millions of copies they sold, millions of CDs it got sold. So there are so many things. But what they got from that? There is nothing. What is any knowledge they got? Anything they got only they wanted to do the time pass, and they wanted to some of the superhuman activity by some of the imaginary character. That's all. Spider-Man, Superman, all the things just waste of time to the people. See, even our Supreme Personality of Godhead, whatever the Spider-Man did, whatever the Superman did, beyond that, nobody can expect, nobody can do this. That kind of acts our Lord, Supreme Lord did it. That scriptures are there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you read that, if you understand that, because people not aware that this is whatever we are hearing, whatever we are reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is far better than whatever the mundane things. So if you read about the mundane activities of or some imaginary character or some movie, that is just for the time pass. We may think that we know that the Superman, what he did, what he was doing, it is just an act. Somebody jumping from the 100th floor of the building and he's jumping and he's saving somebody. And it is all imaginary. We know that it is kind of just an act. It is not an original thing. We know that. But still, we are exaggerate and we are speaking about that. Okay, Superman is dead like this. Superman is doing like this. Like that, people are discussing on that. And they invite those actors and they were interviewing the TV. They are interviewing how you did this. What about your feeling or like doing that time? The heroines, whatever doing in this any stunt, that stunt also they are doing along with the dupes. They won't do originally. They won't do. They won't do originally. They will keep a dupe there, and the dupe person will do all the acts. And in the movie, finally, they will show us this person did that. The hero did that. So the hero, heroine, whatever the producer, everybody got the money, and whoever the TV anchors, they are speaking about them and they are discussing about them. Those people also getting the money, and the TV channel who is keeping that person also giving the money. But what about us? Whoever we are seeing in the name of entertainment, we are spending our valuable time. So the time is never, we discussed in the last class, the time, whatever the time we are spending, not even a single second cannot be get back. Even if you are giving so much millions of dollars, millions of gold, you cannot get back. So that much valuable time we are wasting on that. And our mind, sometimes we are talking about the politicians, how they are trickily, they are doing this act. So, and some criminal act, we are discussing about some criminals, how they are looted somebody. All those things we are discussing. So in that, our mind become polluted. It is not going to, we are not going to get anything from that, anything out of it. We can get, okay, this kind of people are there. We should avoid such people. That we can understand. But the current way, how they are exposing, how they are giving the more intensity on that. See how the ministers, they did the scam. So for that, how the ministers are going, what they are speaking, how they did the scam, and how somebody glorified that, somebody opposed that. All those things is happening. So by hearing this, that is called hypocrisy. We don't know whether this person is a good person or bad person. That is called hypocrisy, because somebody talking about that person is good, and other person is talking about the person in the same view. The other person is talking about the same person is bad. So this is called hypocrisy. We don't know whether it is good or bad. That person is good or bad. We don't know. So the Kali Yuga, it is full of hypocrisy only. So with this hypocrisy also, we are not going to get anything out of it. It's not going to be useful for our future, even for the current life, and not for the future life also, in the next life also. So we know that it is not going to use, but still our senses, our ears and eyes and our tongue, there is more agitation. Because of that, we want to hear more about something. We are talking about ill about others. Oh, our ears, we will feel happy. And when we are seeing the TV, somebody getting beaten up, and something is happening, some debate is happening, so we wanted to see that some actors and actress, they're acting. So with the sense gratification, we are not able to do what those people are doing. So without shamelessly they are doing. So we are also happy by seeing that. But we are imagining that ourselves in that hero-heroine position, we are enjoying that. And the tongue, we wanted to speak about whatever we saw to see, whatever we are seeing in the movie, we are going and discussing about to others. Whatever we are seeing the debate with the politicians, we are discussing with others. Whatever is reading in the newspaper, we are discussing with others. So all these activities are mundane. So this activity can be converted into a spiritual activity when we are engaging them, all of these senses in the by hearing and seeing the Lord and hearing about the Lord and speaking about the Lord. All these senses, if you engage with the engage in the hearing, speaking, and listening about the Supreme Lord, then automatically what will happen? Our taste. So yes, our mind is always agitation. We cannot control our mind. That's what Prabhupada used to say. The mind cannot be controlled, but the mind need to be engaged from the lower taste to higher taste. So instead of hearing about this person, that person, and wasting the time by seeing the act in the serial or in the movie, and speaking ill about others. So all those things we can convert this thing to the higher taste when we engage the same thing, same senses to read, to hear, and to talk about Srimad Bhagavatam kind of scriptures. And there are so many acharyas, their realizations, they sung the songs, the poems about the Lord. So here means reading the songs and understand what feeling they did. So that kind of mood, if you get into that, it will take us into the transcendental position. We are captured by these modes of nature. From that, by reading the scriptures, by hearing about the Lord, and by singing about the Lord, pure devotees poems about the Lord, then automatically we will get into the transcendental platform. So there are so many devotees, the exemplary devotees, they did all those things. You cannot say that is only one person he did. So we cannot imitate the same person. So we don't want to imitate, but at least whatever that person is realization, if you understand that, if you try to apply one person from one acharya, one pure devotee, whatever he did, one quality, if you try to imbibe in your life by hearing about that person and hearing about what he did for the Lord, if you try to imbibe that one quality from that person, if you see, over a period of time, we will be in the transcendental position. We will be also in the path of pure devotion path. So that is the way we have to spend our life, use our ears and use our tongue. So here in this sloka, it is mentioned that if you are not using your tongue and your ear hole, is what is it is compared there? It is compared that your ear holes are like a snakes, where it is staying, that snakes, right? Then the whole snakes used to stay. That holes, your ear hole is like to compare to that. And the tongue. So the tongue of the frog. So the frog, if it is the rainy season, the frog will make a noise. Quack, 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 frog, frog, frog. It is making the noise. So what will happen? It is inviting the snake there. Because by hearing that sound, what will happen? Snake will come, it will eat. So it is inviting this, it is opening his own graveyard there. The frog is opening the own graveyard by making the unwanted noise. So it's a similar way, if you are speaking unwantedly, unnecessarily also about the mundane topics, we are also inviting that the kala, or in the unwanted sins, we are going to invite the unwanted sins. So there is a story we already discussed in the past also. So there was a person, there is one wise person, he used to do always every day, he used to do the annadan to the people every day. So during that annadan, every day he was doing annadan. One day what happened, there was a eagle who was passing that place. The eagle, it had one snake, poisonous snake in its legs. So when it was passing to that place, the people are doing the annadan. Big vessels, they kept the prasadam and they are doing the annadan. And while the eagle crossing that place, flying in that on top of that, the snake, the poison from the snake's mouth, it fell on where he kept the prasadam. And nobody aware that the poison fell on the prasadam. The people who is serving and who is eating, nobody aware that. But what happened? The eagle crossed there, and the poison fell on the prasadam, and they were feeding the same prasadam. But after that, what happened? Because the poison eaten by some few people, those died. So immediately the people around them, everybody talking about the ill about that person. We see he was doing so many years, he was doing the Annadan, but the one particular some mistake happened, but the people not talk about the so many years he did. He talk about he is killing, he is calling the Brahmanas, calling the poor people, he is feeding and he is killing the people, like that they are talking. So one lady who used to sell the flowers in that street, he was sitting and she was doing this work. So who are all coming, some Brahmanas, some outside people, they will come, they will ask the address of that particular person. Where is that house is there? Who is doing the Annadan every day? So this lady, he used to show that house. Okay, in this street, end of that end in the house is there. She used to say, don't go and eat there, because he used to feed the poison to the people and he will kill you. So when Yamaraj came, when Yamaraj came and the papa, and this papa need to be put on someone else, right? This papa, where he want to put? So when they are confused about that, this papa need to be put on the person who fed that, who is the owner or who is serving and who is cooking, and the people who eat, whom to put. So when because nobody guilty or all are in the eagle. So nobody guilty over there, because nobody aware that. The eagle also not aware, the snake also not aware, then people who are serving the prasadam also not aware, the person who is the owner also not aware. Nobody aware that. Though, so this papa, where the sinful act, where we need to keep, to whom we need to put? Yes, this papa need to be put on someone else. So whom need to put? Then the papa, where they put? The lady who is the flower selling lady, who is telling ill about that person, they put the papa on that lady, because even though there is no connection between that lady and this, since they used her tongue and talk about ill about the person, the papa put on that lady. The poisonous killing that brahmanas, that act is put on the papa put on that the lady. So this is the way, if you are talking about unnecessarily without understanding, it is because the lady is, this is not required for the lady to talk ill about others. It's not required. But since her agitation, she talked about that. So similar, that's the reason she got that punishment. We need to understand from this story that we should not talk ill about others, because that is not our duty also. So we always need to talk about Lord, we need to discuss about the Lord. If you have a time, discuss about the Lord, read about the Lord, hear about the Lord, and see the scriptures and see the beauty of the Lord in the church of Vigraha. So that is the way we need to engage our senses, so that we won't come down from our position, and that will be useful. The time, whatever the time we used, we connect with the Lord. So that will be useful. That will be fructified, the time. Otherwise, the time is not fructified. So in the last line, what Prabhupada is saying here, asatī means woman who become prostitute. So the prostitute woman, she won't have any reputation in the society, right? So her quality is she is selling her body for the sake of money. So nobody give the respect in the society. So they'll talk about the cheap. You'll keep her in the cheap position only. So here the same, how cheaply the prostitute are considered in the society. The same, our scriptures are considering the person who is not engaging his tongue to chanting the holy name of the Lord and to reading the scriptures to speak about the Lord. They are just speaking about nonsense things. Those tongues are considered as a prostitute, compared to the prostitute. So this person also, there is no higher than the prostitute. So that is the way the scriptures are saying. So please use our tongue, use our eyes, use our hearing, use our ears. Always engage with the Lord topics. Speak Lord topic, hear Lord topic, see the Archa Vigraha. In that way, you can use our lifetime also useful way, and also it will keep away from all these nonsense things, and we will get the love of Godhead as early as possible. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Any questions, any doubt, any clarification, any feedback?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, so like